All right, I got another one for you guys. Going to go through the list of Steam sale items for this weekend, and I'm going to include the link to the full page here so you can actually go through this at your leisure. But let's get into a few that I picked out. Just some things that really stood out to me and definitely worth checking out. There's also going to be another video coming up for some longer term sale stuff. So this is not a complete list by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just a few that I picked out. Wanted to keep it kind of short. So let's get into it. First up is Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed Ecto Edition. So this came out in 2023. It has very positive reviews. It seems like it's a 4v1 like asynchronous multiplayer game where you can play as the ghost, or you can play as one of the Ghostbusters. And there's also a single player option. So it seems very interesting to kind of frame that asynchronous multiplayer in the Ghostbusters universe. Seems like an interesting thing. Definitely Winston seems to be very, very heavily featured in this game, which is cool to see. But yeah, it's quite an interesting thing. It looks very fantastic. So worth checking out, especially for $13, 35% off. Fairly inexpensive game to begin with, and then with the 35% off, definitely worth looking into that. So next up is going to be Dying Light. Now, Dying Light is a fairly old game, 2015, but from what I understand, it doesn't have centralized servers for multiplayer, so it's like a peer-to-peer type of thing. So it's probably a game that's not going to ever have an issue connecting to multiplayer, like connecting with your friends to play a game or what have you. So definitely worth checking that out for a long-term thing to just pick up on a weekend and have fun. And for the enhanced edition, it's $9 right now. It's 70% off. You can't go wrong with that. So get your friends to get it, and then you can have some fun multiplayer. It's also single player, so you can just play it on your own as well. So for $10 or less than $10, definitely worth checking that one out too. Next up, continuing on the zombie approach here, Dead Island Definitive Edition. Very, very inexpensive. This came out in 2016, and the Definitive Edition is 85% off for $3. Definitely can't go wrong there. I think this does have centralized servers, however, so that might be an issue. But with Dead Island 2 coming up, it's probably worth checking this out. It does have that single player, so it is playable even though it's an older game. So yet another zombie game on sale, 85% off. Can't go wrong. Next up is going to be Destroy All Humans. So this is, again, somewhat older. I mean, it's not that old. It's 2020. But it was definitely very well received when it came out, and definitely worth playing at that time. But if you missed on this, for 75% off, it's definitely worth checking out now for $7.50. One of the more well-received games of that year, if I remember correctly. And it's like a humorous, very, very interesting take on alien invasion. And it's got a lot of humor, a lot of memes, a lot of interesting stuff going on. So definitely worth checking out. Next up is going to be Ghost Runner 2. So this is more of a cyberpunk, like free-running kind of slasher type of game. It's a really interesting concept, and the gameplay looks just fantastic if you want to just check it out here. So very fast-paced, very cyberpunky, very like new wave futuristic apocalyptic kind of approach here. So definitely a fun game, very positively received, and for 50% off for $20, being a newer game for half off is definitely worth a look. So that is Ghost Runner 2. Next up is going to be Station to Station. Now this is more low-key, very casual, kind of like a train set builder, if I want to kind of frame it that way. It's very the perspective, the camera perspectives make it look like it's very small, with the focal stops, and it's kind of interesting. It's very artistic, nice art style, casual. It does have some challenge modes, but it's also got this option where you can just casually play. So it's kind of a low-key, relaxing kind of game. So if you're down for something like that involving trains and basically building train routes, definitely look into this one. And for 40% off for less than $11, it's definitely worth a look. And also you can have, there's this digital deluxe edition for $15. Railway Puzzles bundle, so you got a couple of bundles here as well. But like I said, I mean, I think the best deals here are just the Station to Station or Station to Station Digital Deluxe Edition, given their prices. So that's Station to Station, and next up is going to be Hellish Court. So this was a fairly interesting title and very interesting way of approaching sword combat. It kind of reminds me of an old PlayStation game, Bushido Blade, in a way, but in a Eurocentric instead of Asian-centric context. So, yeah, it's quite challenging. It's very indie, but really, really great game, and fast combat. I mean, you can have an extended sword fight, but at the end of the day, a lot of those sword fights end pretty quickly and pretty abruptly, just because if you get a good shot in on your opponent, they're done for. And likewise, if they get one on you, you're done for. So, very hardcore combat with swords. Definitely worth checking out. And for 25% off at under $13, good price for that game. I think I bought it at retail, so I'm not regretting that purchase. So definitely worth getting it on sale if you have an interest in that kind of thing. So next up is Turmoil. Now this is an older game, but it was very well received at the time. A lot of streamers were playing this back in 2016, and it was a fun little game. It's interesting challenges. Basically, you're basically just mining for minerals, for oil, and you put down your pipelines and try and tap into these reserves to make enough money to be able to pay to get to the next level. And then you got the two places where you can sell the oil. It's an interesting, like, kind of building simulation sort of thing. Very, very casual. Kind of like the Station to Station. It's very low key. Kind of just something to zone out to and chill and play a few levels. But it's an interesting game and definitely worth checking out for $6.50. You can't go wrong with that. There's also this other thing for just under $10 with the DLC, so you can get that too. That's a pretty good price for that, 53% off. So that's Turmoil, and the last one on my list is Hell Let Loose. So Hell Let Loose is World War II combat, fighting game. Very immersive, very like detailed and very well designed. Seems like kind of a spiritual successor to like Battlefield Modern Warfare 2 type of thing, set in World War II. Very, very interesting, very well detailed, and extremely well reviewed, extremely well received. It is only 35% off, and it's a fairly expensive game for the Ultimate Edition here at $42 on sale. But that is cheaper than just the game alone, so it's worth getting that package deal. And it seems like an interesting approach. I mean, it's more indie, and if you're getting sick of Call of Duty, if you're getting sick of Battlefield, if you're getting sick of those big tentpole combat games, maybe this is worth a check to see if it's worth playing for you. And for $42, maybe it is, and maybe you want to check it out first online, see if there's anything, any streamers out there playing it, and take a look. But from what I've seen of it, it's a very interesting game. These fighting games are not really my speed anymore. I don't have the time to sink into them, but back in the day, I loved those kind of games. So maybe I'll have to check this one out, or maybe wait for it to be on sale at a deeper discount than this. But it is a game released in 2021, so I guess we can't expect too much. It is getting older now, but yeah, it would be nice to see that on a higher discount than that. So that is my list. Fairly short, fairly sweet, and compared to the games that are actually out there on sale, I mean, there's a ton that I could have talked about, and there are a few in the queue. In fact, there's some other sales going on, like a week-long sale and a publisher sale that I'm going to cover as well this weekend. But I'm not going to get into that today. I just wanted to get some sale stuff out there. These are the ones that are going to be this weekend, and kind of they're not going to be on sale as of next week at some point. It varies, but a lot of them are like April 1st, April 5th, sometime next week. So definitely not worth, not something you want to sleep on. If you're interested in any of these games, definitely check them out this weekend and see if you can get some good deals. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, give it a like, give me a subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later.